We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and also a special edition thanks to LegalSoft. We're speaking to amazing legal professionals, and my guest today is Shawn Sasooness, and he's from Sasooness Law Group. How are you, Shawn? You're a personal injury lawyer, and I'm excited to talk to you today.
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks, Neil. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So why did you decide to practice law? Was this something you wanted to do your whole life?
No, it wasn't. I would say, kind of a normal, standard path after, once I got into college, it was like, all right, what route do I want to take? I had some, people close in my family that were lawyers, not many, a couple, just new lawyers, and I would see the work they would do. And, the line of work, what it was like to be a lawyer, the communication, taking on cases, helping people. So it's like, okay, this could be interesting. Started taking some classes to gear up toward there. And one thing that I'm really glad I did is I started clerking for different law firms. I started as a first year in college, started getting into a couple law firms just to see what it was like. Do I like it? Do I like that field? Do I like what a lawyer's life is like? They're not all like Harvey Specter in Suits, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. I like communicating with people. I like helping people. So I went down that path, and I honestly never looked back. Went through undergrad, took my LSAT, got into law school, and here I am.
So you liked Harry Specter then?
Harvey Specter. I think
Specter.
Suits is one of those shows that you could probably watch over and over again, and I think it's a very cool show. Cool character.
I love Suits as well. I think it really teaches you specifically never to give up. It's almost like a story when you watch it and see how they grew to try to become partners and how they grew things. It's kind of reminded me exactly of almost like The Founder in certain ways. You just got to keep gearing up. You got to keep going and go at it and put your work ethic into it to be able to make it to where you need to be. So that's so true. So why did you choose to practice, again, your specialty in law?
So we do personal injury and workers' compensation, and I'm a big believer. I speak at law schools, and I do mentorship for law students and new attorneys because I'm not that far from one myself, but I know what it's like. So I tell everybody, I tell them all that with the first job you take as a lawyer at a law school is really going to dictate your career path and what you're going to do. I think more often than not, somebody may get into one area of law, they don't like it and they pivot really quick. But a lot of the times you're getting in, your first job as a lawyer, that's probably what you're going to be practicing going forward, at least in the near future. So that's what happened to me. I wasn't planning to be in this area of law. But after law school, I got a job in this field and I was good at it. I enjoyed it. I liked what I was doing. So I continued doing it into opening up my own practice.
And when you talk about specifically enough personal injury, you said you enjoyed doing it. It's got to feel good to help people, right? That's one of the things of being in that form, choosing that law, that you're helping people for sure in personal injury.
About personal injury, we are representing the little person, the little guy against the big corporate insurance companies. People get into car accidents, they get injured, they spend their entire lives paying thousands, hundreds of thousands in insurance premiums when it's the insurance company's time to step up and pay them and compensate them for their injuries. They don't do it. They turn their back. That is where we come in. We represent the little guy against the big insurance companies, and we hold them accountable, and we represent them to make sure they're getting compensated properly for their injuries. And that makes me feel good.
It definitely seems like it makes you feel good because, I mean, they needed you to fight for them. Without you, there would be no one to help them, and then they fall short and lose out with big corporations doing their thing, right?
People come to us because they were injured in an accident. They come to us to get them the medical treatment and attention that they need to help them with that and to maximize the recovery and value for their case, how much money they get compensated for those injuries. That makes me feel good.
Definitely. And a lot of people, they don't get to feel good about doing something. You're able to do that and be able to do something you enjoy. Tell us the journey of how you grew your practice.
Okay. I would say I've been practicing for about 9 years now, started my firm almost 7 years ago. And my journey of how I started my practice, the first few years was a lot of experimentation. Opened my practice, try doing different things, how I wanted to operate my firm, what role I wanted to have within my firm, how I wanted to handle cases, even different areas of law. I experimented with handling different types of cases, and it's kind of led to what we do today, specializing in personal injury and workers' compensation. It's led to that. So that's how I would say I grew my practice, starting when I started just experimenting, using those first few years to really figure out what we want to do, what kind of firm I want to be, what we want to specialize in, the type of work we want to do. And now that I feel like we have that, sky's the limit.
And that's exactly the point. Sky's the limit, because you can constantly look at these things to develop. What makes you different as a law firm compared to your competitors?
It's a good question. Our tagline and what we really, as a firm, we really stand by is we give small firm attention with big firm results. So giving clients the individualized attention that they need and that they deserve. At the end of the day, we're a service-based business. We're a law firm. They're hiring us as lawyers to represent them. So giving that level of attention to every client. Then the second part of that is results. We're all about results. At the end of the day, that's what people care about. At the end of the day, when one of our clients is talking to their family and friends, they're going to tell them, this is what this firm was able to do for me. So small firm attention, big firm results is what we stand by.
And that's so important, to give them the attention they need, because when they contact you, they're distraught. They're feeling they're injured. They don't want to, hear we can't help you, right? And I'm sure you hear stories of ones that they've called other attorneys that said, no way. And then you guys are like, yeah, we can help you.
Big time, big time. People, when this happens to them, people don't expect to hire lawyers. It's not part of somebody's plans, but things happen, such as they get injured as a result of an accident and they don't know what to do. It's a very complicated process. What you do, how you communicate with the insurance companies, getting the medical treatment that you need, putting a case together to get compensated fairly for your injuries. It's a very complicated time and process. And yeah, we come in and we help with that.
You definitely do. You come in and help with that. So let's talk about who you serve. Who should contact you? It involves, again, personal injury and workers' compensation. Who are the people that should contact you?
That's right. So as personal injury lawyers, we represent people that were injured because the negligence of another person. The perfect example is you're driving down the street, you get rear-ended. That person was negligent in not paying attention. We represent that person against the other person. You walk into a supermarket and you slip and fall on soda that was spilled on the floor. If that grocery store is inviting you onto their property, they better make sure those premises are safe. They were negligent in not keeping those premises safe. People that were injured as a result of somebody else's negligence, those are the people that we represent. On the workers' compensation side, it includes any injury that occurs within the course and scope of your employment. Doesn't matter whether there was anybody at fault. If you're working, you get injured while you're in the course and scope of your employment, we represent those people as well.
So let's get to workers' comp, because a lot of times someone gets hurt at work, they go and talk to somebody and they never hire a workers' compensation lawyer. What are they doing by missing out by not contacting a workers' comp lawyer once they get injured at work?
The best way I could say it is the employer or the workers' compensation insurance of that person that is covering them for their injuries. Their interest isn't to help that worker as much as possible, give them all the medical treatment they need, pay them as much money as possible for their injuries. Their job is it's their own interest to pay them as little money as possible, to handle the claim with the lowest cost possible. That's what those people are leaving on the table by not hiring a lawyer, thinking that that insurance company, that workers' compensation insurance company, is going to take care of them and put their interests first. It's not going to happen. Their own pockets is their interest.
And I bet you it's a little bit different. When someone gets injured, they always usually contact a personal injury lawyer, especially if it's somebody else's fault, an accident, or different things. But when it comes to work, they trust a little too much sometimes, right?
That's true. That's true. And I think that's a mistake.
And then to know to call you. So you probably get a lot more calls and a lot more people inquiring without education when it comes to personal injury versus workers' compensation. I think that's got to be better education that's out there regarding this.
Yeah, yeah. We try to put content out there for our clients, and that's why we put our ads out for people, where if this happens to you, this is how we could help. At the end of the day, it's up to that person, whether they want to hire somebody or not. We lay out exactly what we could do for them, what the difference is between not having a lawyer and having a lawyer. The decision is theirs. Hopefully they make the right one.
All right. So my next question is, how has LegalSoft helped you grow your practice?
LegalSoft they're amazing. LegalSoft has identified the needs of law firms, and they've provided that service. LegalSoft helps with so many parts of a law firm that is outside the practice of law. That could include website maintenance. It can include marketing, social media presence, newsletters. These are all things that, as lawyers, we should be doing for the business. But as lawyers, we're so busy practicing law and handling our cases and helping our clients that we kind of forget some of that stuff. And LegalSoft does a great job providing those services. They're ahead of the game. They stay ahead of the game in terms of services that could benefit law firms, and they provide those services. So that's how they've helped us.
Wow, and that's a very, very important part, right? Especially the marketing and all that, because you said you're busy. You're either in court, you're busy dealing with clients. It's very hard to make sure that you're sending out information, you're doing all these different things, and know it's being provided and done for you, versus, hey, we got to do this, and this is keeping us from growing the business.
Exactly. As a law firm, you are still a service-based business. Don't forget the business part. But as lawyers, we're in that legal mind. We're practicing law. We are handling cases. We're helping our clients. But don't forget about that business part. That's where LegalSoft comes in and provides a lot of those services to those law firms to keep the business relevant. And I think that's great.
So let's talk business again, about being, owning a law firm, but the importance of treating it like a business. A lot of law firms don't do that. What have you grown to learn and know to help grow your practice? Kind of looking at specifically enough the customer service end, all the different ends, and things that maybe you didn't even know you have to know as a business owner.
It's something that I think you have to go in there when you start but you have to keep that in mind, first of all, that you are running a business and you want that business to grow. You want that business to continue growing, continue getting better, continue improving. If you're running a law firm the way they were running law firms in the 1980s, you're not going to run a very good law firm. So part of that business aspect is you gotta stay in the game. You gotta take advantage of new things, new trends, developments in the field, in the business of law. So I think being aware of that is first and foremost and is so important. And a lot of the times as lawyers, they're so busy handling cases, representing clients, going to court. The life of a lawyer is it's demanding. The work is tough. So they forget about that business part. But it's important as a business owner, law firm owner, whoever's at the top, to remember those things. And it's really important to keep the business relevant and growing.
Exactly. Relevant and growing, keeping up with what's happening, helping your clients win cases. And then the more people talk about how great you are, the more you're going to get more business and the more you're going to grow. But then you have to look at the operations side and say, what's working, what's not working, all these different things. So if people are watching this or listening to this, why should they call you? What kind of things should you look out for to say, okay, I'm going to have to give Shawn a call?
Well, because we're the best. I really think that, we're the best at what we do. And we specialize in personal injury, car accidents, slip and falls, dog bites, things of that like, and we specialize in work comp cases. If you got injured at work, we represent those people as well. So those are the two areas of law that we do. You could find us on social media. That's probably the best place. All our information is on there. Content is on there. You could learn a little bit about us and what we do as a firm and how we help people. It's all on there. That's probably the best place you could find us, at Sasooness Law Group, at Shawn Sasooness. At us.
And you never thought of this when you first started, how much you have to be a personal brand, right? That you have to tell that story and be out.
That's one of the ways that you got to stay in the game. It's important. Most people, they're researching something, they're going on social media. Let's see what their social media is like. I'll be honest with you, I'm interviewing people. One of the first things I go on is their social media. If they're looking to hire a lawyer, I'm sure one of the things that they may go on is our social media. So we make sure to put a lot of content out there, a lot of information about who we are, what we do. So yeah.
That's the thing. And then this is the last education part that people think, okay, social media is going to bring business. It's going to be one of the measures. Marketing is all those things people seeing you. It's your sales. It's how you once finally you get the lead and what you do with the lead. But social media is that my final thing, like, oh, wow, okay, this person's really out there. Because you would tell me, would you go to a business that you can't see anything on social media? Like you go and no, you're going to say, no way I'm going to go and hire that person. No way I'm going to work with that person. No way I'm going to venture that establishment if I don't see that they're active. They're out there and I can understand things. It's the way to go. It's the way to the future. And that's for sure the big thing. And again, quickly, your website is
www.saslawgroup.com. It's short for Sasooness Law Group.
All right. Excellent. All right. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.